Hi, my name is Sarah Davison and I'm best known as the Divorce Coach. And I really wanted to put together a Christmas advice video for you because I've been getting so many messages from people saying they're really struggling with Christmas. Now, I know Christmas is a really tough time. If you're in a relationship where there's problems, that can be difficult. If you're single, this is your first Christmas alone, then that can be difficult too. Or maybe you've been single for a while, you've been separated or divorced maybe for a long time, and you're just struggling to cope with Christmas on your own. Yeah, maybe you haven't quite got into a routine that works for you yet. So I've put together some advice in 3 parts. The first part is why. Why do the most number of breakups happen after Christmas? It's crazy, right? That in January, there are so many more divorces and breakups than there are any other month in the year. Secondly, I want to give you some tips for how to survive Christmas. So how to survive if you're in a relationship, you're not sure that it's going great, then how can you avoid those pitfalls over Christmas? And the third point, if you're single, how do you cope with Christmas on your own? You know, and if you've got kids as well, how do you deal with Christmas? Maybe you're alternating Christmases now you're divorced. Yeah, how do you deal with that? So I'm going to give you lots of advice. I'm going to pack it into this video. So let's get started. The first point, why do breakups happen at Christmas and into the new year? I think it's fascinating because Christmas is known as a time traditionally for families, isn't it? We all come together, spend time with loved ones. It's also supposed to be a happy time. So why is it then that in January, and actually the first working Monday of any new year is known as D-Day, Divorce Day? Yeah, but family law firms report that they get more inquiries about breakups and divorce on the first working day of the year than any other day of the year. So why does that happen after Christmas? Well, there's quite a few reasons. The first one being that we're spending quality time with our partners. So, you know, any time where you're spending quality time and you have a healthy relationship and the relationship is going great, well, that's a great thing. It can take your relationship to another level. But if there's problems, maybe there's been growing resentment over a long period of time, or maybe you're just not getting on very well at the moment. You know, any time where you spend quality time with people, then you really get to see them without the distractions, you know. So things like maybe the school run, going to work, you know, going off to play football or go play golf, or, you know, going out with your friends. All those distractions are taken away for family time. And so that puts pressure on, and if there are cracks in the foundations, that can make the relationship incredibly unstable. Also, you know, we're out of our daily routine, we're not doing the normal things. So, you know, we're not used to the pattern, and so that can make us a little bit more open to issues might arise from that, as well as the fact that we spend time with extended family. Now, you know, the in-laws, there's always jokes about that, right? And we can't pick our family. So, you know, sometimes being forced into family situations for periods of time can also put added pressure and stress on any relationship, let alone one that has issues and problems. So you can kind of see how all these things start to stack up and cause breakups in the new year. And I always find looking at people's expectations very interesting. Because, you know, quite often partners have different expectations for Christmas. For example, maybe one of you, you know, if you're working really hard, your expectation for Christmas is to come back, to chill out, to sit on the sofa, relax and watch movies. Maybe for, you know, the other partner, it might be, you know, playing more with the kids or cooking or doing more things together. So you can see if there's different expectations, that tensions then can rise with that. Also, obviously, financial issues. You know, Christmas can be a really expensive time of year with presents and food. You know, all those extra things that happen around Christmas can put pressure on finances, which again, obviously, it can be very worrying. And if we're worrying and under stress, that also can cause arguments. So all these different things, you know, go into the melting pot and contribute to why in January or after Christmas, you know, there is an increase in breakups and divorce. So they're things to bear in mind. So how can you manage those issues? What can you do? So how can you survive Christmas, bearing in mind that all these things cause a lot of tension over Christmas? Well, first of all, I would suggest communication is key here and not to let problems fester. If there are underlying issues, then maybe either parking them and just letting yourself have a break from those would be good. But if you can sit down and communicate with your partner about the sort of things we've discussed, what are your expectations? Tell me, what do you want from Christmas? And this is what I want from Christmas. So how can we make this work together? If you can work out together what you both want and what your expectations are, then that will really help to set the tone. Obviously, you can't control what your partner does. You can only control what you do. But if you can get an agreement up front that you both agree to stick to, then that can really help pave the way. And also, if tensions do arise, then you understand that, maybe your partner isn't willing to play ball with you, or, or you can come back to him and say, hey, do you remember we agreed this? That's a way of sort of dialing down the intensity of any disagreements. So, having a plan about what you both agree to, what you both expect, but what you both want from Christmas can really, really help. As well as looking at setting a budget. How much do you want to spend on presents? How much do you want to spend on food? What are you prepared to both do for Christmas? Who's going to do the cooking? Who's going to do the cleaning? Where does that fit in? If you're going to spend time with family, then, how much time? Can you agree that? Can you agree that maybe if you don't get on with one member of the family, that the other person just keeps an eye out for you and maybe has your back at certain times? Or, maybe you have a get out phrase of, come on, let's go, and that you agree to take them out of a situation, they agree to take you out of a situation, and diffuse it if it starts to get difficult. Also with your partner, if things do get difficult, don't always go in to react to what they're saying. Maybe do something completely different they're not expecting, like giving them a kiss or doing the chicken dance or whatever it is, just to change things around and not get caught up in the arguments. If you can take a step back ahead of time and actually make a conscious decision that you don't want that, you don't want to get into those kind of discussions over Christmas, you're going to park them, then at least it's not going to add fuel to the fire over that time where, you're supposed to be enjoying being together. So, all those things will keep, Christmas going, and also please try and have some fun. You can plan fun, you can book in fun, you can get some special board games that are going to make you laugh, Pictionary or that game, Play-Doh game where you make things. All those sort of things can just bring a bit of laughter, charades, those kind of games. Just anything that you think would work for your family to create a happier environment rather than focusing on the issues. Distraction can be really powerful over Christmas. So those things I think will really help you survive Christmas. But what if you are single at Christmas? If you are single, if it's your first Christmas and you're not sure how to work it, maybe your kids are in different places, maybe you're alternating for the first time, or maybe you're alternating. I had a client yesterday who's been alternating Christmases for a long time, but she still finds it really, really difficult because she misses out on Christmas. So here's my 5-step plan to help you get through Christmas if you are single. Now, first of all, you need a plan. So please have one. So what do I mean by a plan? Well, work out, number one, what do you want from Christmas? What do you want? What do you want to do? What would be your ideal Christmas? Because, if you're on your own, you can make some decisions that maybe you wouldn't be able to do if you're with somebody else. So let's have a look at what that would be. If you could create your own Christmas and design it just the way you want it to be, then how would that be? So get an idea of what would ideally be your Christmas. Number 2, if you've got kids who aren't going to be with you for Christmas, you don't have to miss out on that special day. Now, why do I say that? Well, you can recreate Christmas on a different day. It doesn't have to be the 25th. You can recreate it with Christmas Eve and Boxing Day on a different weekend or a different weekday if your kids are young and not at school. I've always done this. When I have my son on years that I don't have him for Christmas, we recreate it and do it as if it's Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. So I get my parents over, we do the Christmas tree, we leave the mulled wine for Father Christmas and a carrot, and we put the presents out on Christmas Eve. And then my son comes down on the Christmas Day morning, our Christmas Day morning, and he has that whole magic moment experience that we share with him. Because as parents, Father Christmas will come twice if you book it in. Oh yes, he will. He will come twice if you book it in. So you just have to let Santa know that your kids are going to be with you on a certain date, and then he will come for them. as well on that day. And then they'll get the other experience of Christmas on another day. You know, I had one of the mums at school come up to me a few years ago now, my son was younger, and said, I can't believe it, Sarah. My son James came out of school and he said, Mummy, I'd like you to separate so that I can get 2 Christmases just like my son gets. My son had been so excited about having 2 Christmases and Santa coming twice, you know, that he thought this was fantastic. So, you know, kids will take their lead from you. You know, if you can encourage it and make it special for them, then it will be okay, you know, and there are good sides to being separated over Christmas, like you get 2 Christmases. So, you know, you could use that example. So don't feel that just because it's tough, you have to take that on and feel low. You don't. You can flip it. You can do something different with it. You know, if you're splitting the Christmas day as well, then just make that magical too. And you can always have your Christmas morning on a different day and then your Christmas afternoon with the kids or whatever you want to do. There are no rules. Remember, you create this. You design it just the way you want it. So that's what I'd advise. If your kids are not with you, then what do you do for Christmas Day? Or maybe you don't have kids and you're just, you know, you're not sure what to do for Christmas. You don't want to be on your own. Well, there's lots of things you can do. So, for example, you know, do things that you could never do before. So, for example, maybe, you know, you could go and do some charity work. You know, I worked for Crisis one year and it was incredible. You know, I thought I was going there and it was going to be, I was going to be able to help people. But actually the most rewarding thing was for me, you know, it was incredible. It was an incredibly eye-opening, heartwarming experience, very emotional day. I think I did 4 days actually working there over Christmas and it was absolutely incredible working in one of the shelters, and you get so much back personally from doing that, and it helps you get a sense of perspective too. You know, you can spend it with friends, you know, maybe friends that you wouldn't normally spend it with. You know, you can always, you know, if you have kids and, you know, the Christmas is always around them, now you can do it on your terms. You know, if you want to have a drink, if you want to have a snooze, if you want to have a 3-hour Christmas lunch, maybe you want to go to that restaurant for Christmas lunch, have someone do it all for you, but your kids would never sit still for Christmas lunch for 3 hours, so you've never done it. You know, what could you do this Christmas that you could never have done before? You know, watch movies, watch the movies you want, watch the Queen's Speech when you want to watch it. You know, all those things, you know, look at it from another angle and just make it what you want it to be, okay? My 4th point would be to make some really powerful New Year's resolutions. What do I mean by that? Not resolutions that are going to get lost like most of them do, but more of a breakup bucket list of things that you can do now in the coming year that you could never have done before. Maybe, you know, something that gets you really excited. Maybe you're just going to change a few things up. It's really important when you're single that you look at the new year as a fresh start, you know, to do something new, to see who you want to become over the next 12 months. And start to put those things in action. Start to create an action plan of things that are going to really empower you and give you something to look forward to, some things to aim for. You know, it could be something small or it could be something big, you know, whatever, you know, for you is important. But take this as a chance to take a step back and redesign things the way you want. And my 5th point is that you only live once. YOLO. You know, it's true. You only live once, guys. So if you're going to spend time, you may as well turn it into something positive. You may as well turn it into something that you enjoy. I'm not saying that it's a magic wand to take away all the pain, because that's crazy. You know, we're human beings, we feel emotion, we feel sadness, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to be sad at times. But there's no reason to see this as all doom and gloom, because it isn't. And there are people out there that are turning it around and making it into something different, for sure, but something that gives them just as much joy and connection as if they were in a relationship or they did have their kids with them, you know? So you can do this. You can dig deep. You know, it is a great time of year for looking inside and working out, you know, who you are and where you want to go. You know, the next 12 months, you know, 2019 is coming. It's a new year. It's a new year, and it's also a great time to create a new you. So I hope this video has helped. I hope it's given you some interesting takeaways that you can implement into your world for Christmas. And I wish you all a very Merry Christmas.